So to pick up where we kind of left off, I got the transmission out, torque converters off of it. The goal today is to get that cleaned up. Got some parts that came in over the last couple of days. These are my gaskets from Cascar. The intake, the air horn gasket, little gasket for, if I can get the light off of that. One of the gaskets that's for the output shaft on the transfer case, that funky looking gasket. It's supposed to help stop the leaks, we'll see. And I had one piece for the dog box that was missing. Here we go. These are the water pump cover gasket and the waterline crossover. I have to get a new water pump. I'm not going to get it from there. I started cleaning on these transmission cooler lines a little bit last time before I had to go to the house. Got my gallon of vapor rust. See how that stuff works. I like watching the guys that do the restorations, and they use a lot of that stuff. I've got some bolts and some fittings sitting in it, and the yoke for the front output shaft on the transfer case. These are the parts I started cleaning up last time. Cover for the torque converter cover, transmission cross member, some of the straps for the fuel tank, and the shift linkage that had to heat up and take apart, and one of them I just gave up on, and another 5 gallons of grease lightning. Funny stuff about that, the 1 gallon containers are pretty close to $9. 25 gallons of it, no, excuse me, 5 gallons of it is $25. Now, y'all do the math on that one. So right now, I'm going to start cleaning up on these transmission lines a little more. Get them over to the paint department. And then get this transmission outside and see if I can get it cleaned up a little bit later. It's about the high 20s today outside, so trying not to do that till I have to. We'll get after it and get back to you guys in a little bit. I got the transmission lines cleaned up, turned over to the paint section. They're telling me it's going to be a little while because of the temperature in here. So, whenever those guys get finished, turn them over, go on the next side. And while that's going on, working on the transmission here, just trying to clean it up a little bit, get some of the worst of the dirt and grease and stuff off of it. I don't know whose idea this was, but it may not be a good one. Oh yeah, it was my idea, never mind. Oh well. The stuff we do for our hobbies, right? I started on it a little bit. Got the end sealed up. Put the dipstick back in it. Some plugs in some of the cooler lines. So while I'm cleaning on this thing, hopefully I won't get any garbage down in it. That wouldn't be good. Not too worried about the bottom. I'm going to change the filter and all that stuff, the gasket in it. So right now I'm just trying to get some of this top part cleaned up where all the dirt and stuff is built up over the years. Get a little bit of that stuff out. Make it a little easier to clean up. And somebody really like the silicone. That stuff's squeezing out everywhere. the new camera last night. GoPro might be a little easier to record this adventure. I don't have to stop all the time and move the camera around. You might get some better shots out of it. I'm working on taking some parts of the motor off here. To get the harness off, have to take the PCV valve, is what they call it, off. And get that out of the way. Little hose clamp up there. Try to do this again without busting my fingers open. And again, more fun because you never really know since they use an assortment of metric and standard. Bolts, what you gonna run into. Then you got a metric now. There we go. Ooh, running low on battery. These are pretty good. I've used them for a while and hadn't had to charge them up yet. Got a rag here in the intake. Hopefully I won't drop anything down in it. Maybe a short extension. That might be too much. Maybe get that one. So the stud came loose, leaving the bolt in it. That's going to be fun. Find me another extension here. No. Wait a minute. Got one right there. Let's see if this one's going to do the same thing. Hose clamp down there at the bottom. See if I can slide that thing off there. There we go. Yeah, you gotta love the fun when that happens. Both sides. deal with that here in a little while. Eventually get the wiring on it. Coming up off the motor now. Part to it. Yep. Still got some more on the back side. I got a couple more connectors on the back of the motor. I'm gonna take those off. I think I got the fuel pump lines over on this side, which lead over, cross over to the fuel filter, which is on the other side. A few of those to take off, get out of the way. I want to take these manifolds off. This thing's going to be interesting to get out as far back in the body that it sits. I might as well just go ahead and take that whole thing off to look it from this side. A couple bolts, that whole harness will come off. Get out of the way. Yeah, we're getting there. So I got the transmission outside, scrubbed on it for a little while, getting ready to hose it off, and wouldn't you know it, the hose is frozen up. So transmission's still out there soaking. Brought the hose inside the shop, trying to let it thaw out a little bit. And I figured, well, waiting on that, might as well do something constructive. So pulling these off manifold bolts off, none of which seem to be really tight. Ooh, might actually have one. So I noticed got some different sizes here, different lengths. A couple of them are actually missing. I'm not getting to that one from in there. I don't know if I'm going to get to that one from underneath either. Well, maybe. I'm going to have to pull those oil cooler lines off anyway, which I've already had them off one time. Well, it wouldn't hurt to take off the other end and let them drain a little while. So I'm not going to be able to get to those back manifold bolts. Let's see what it looks like from under here. Oh, some leaky fuel lines. Yeah, I'm going to have to pull those lines off. Clean my mess up. Get me a new glove that I ripped off. Camera's battery's still pretty good. Maybe it'll last through this part. I don't think I tightened those oil cooler lines up very much. I think they're just sitting there on the threads of hope anyway. Let me just take my watch off. I don't want to mess it up. We're going to do some rearranging and meet underneath this thing. Back underneath this thing. Maybe I did tighten it back up. Thought I had them off one time. Of course, that might be crazy. It's entirely possible. Anyway, two lines here that go from the engine oil up to the cooler and back, and the exhaust manifold is on top of them. So the plan is to pull them down out of the way, get the other exhaust manifold off. Thought I had these things off one time, but I may be wrong. Let's see. Yeah, the whole fitting's turning. And grab another wrench. I hadn't had these off. They're on. Lose a little bit. See if we can catch some of it. Yeah, not too bad. Spot. Yeah, might have to let it through. This other one might be fun. not in a fun spot, that's for sure. Try and get pressure off of it. Nope. Well. That's not good. Still be reaching out. See if I can get on these. There we go. Right there. 1 inch, in case anyone was wondering. Lines drip a few minutes, look like they're slowing down. I'm going to put a rag over them and a little bit of tape. So they won't drip on me. Got the hose thawed out. Cleaned on the transmission a little bit. First round went well. Cleaned up rather nicely. Put some more oven cleaner on it. Let it sit for a little while and go scrub it a little more. Have that thing ready to go in no time. Keep it from dripping on me and keep trash out of it. See if we can get some manifold bolts now. Hey, one that was tight. Got them all. was sealed up very well. That one kind of was. One more step down, I think. Everything's actually disconnected from the motor. Got fuel lines and stuff off. Called a friend of mine. He's got an engine stand he's gonna let me borrow. Get this bad boy out and get it up on the engine stand. See what we're gonna do next. The mail lady just came by. Brought us some more goodies. Let's see what we got. Box in a box. I think I might have said it before. The hardest thing about these is getting parts. And so many times when you order parts, the shipping costs more than the part. You kind of have to shop around, see what you can come up with. So we got new hood latches. One of them broke a year or so ago, and the other one's not doing too good itself. So we got some new hood latches. Awesome. Let's see what else we got. This one's lightweight, so I think this is going to be global transmission. Yep. So these are going to be hopefully the correct seals that I ordered. Seal, housing seals. Oh. So we got some more. I think this is for the seal rear, seal front. So this must be for the pump. I believe it's for the pump. There should be enough seals in here to do the front. The pump seal. Don't think there's one on the rear. And then there should be one for the transfer case input and output. Plus a few others. It came in a kit. I don't need all of it. But I will definitely hang on to it. I think this should be the toolkit. So I ordered a toolkit. It's got all the installers for these seals and stuff, plus a few other things. Socket. Installer yoke seal. Alright. 3/8 drive. .1/8 torque bit. Excuse me, Allen bit. 14mm crowfoot wrench. Seven-inch crowfoot wrench. Wow. I'm not going to open all these little wrenches up. Gearhead hub, seal installer, gearhead hub kit, adapter torque wrench, adapter torque wrench. So this is the tool for the gearhead hub. I don't have any leaking right now. Don't believe. Move the steering knuckles. Seen others of these, if I can get the light right. I'm not sure exactly what that takes off, but figure it out. It'll work that way. Used to have a bunch of these things, and after I quit working on the trucks, I sold them to a friend of mine who's went to work on trucks too. And just fine. They were wrong size. They would have been too big for this stuff. That's going to work. Power steering pump. Installation tool. I have one of those. I think that was it. So I'm going to put all this stuff up. Check some of these seals, see if they're the right thing. Oh, yeah. So got the transmission cleaned up. Big difference. I'm going to pull that rear housing off, clean it up, reseal it. But yeah, that's man, is that much better. Still got a little to clean back there, but I need to take that shift unload off. But anyway, got some new seals. So I think I got enough to put my transfer case back together. Put a little bit of sealer in here. Doesn't take much. If it does any good or not. But it does have a drain hole in it. It keeps this oil on this rear seal. We definitely don't want to stop that up. Let's see if I can straighten this thing up. Get on there, almost. We're bouncing. Looked like it went on pretty good. Good fit there. Got the transfer case here, got the mating surfaces all shined up. So we're gonna, this is done with sealer, silicone. So we're gonna put a little bit on here, sit that on there, tighten it down just a little bit, let it sit for a while. What time is it? Almost 3 o'clock. Let it sit for a little while. Then torque all the bolts down. Then we can do the same thing with that end cap. Put the yoke on it. I want to flip it over, check the other side. I need to do some more cleaning on this thing as well. I got it cleaned up some. Alright, let's get after it.